We're going to give everyone just a couple minutes to get in here. So, this is a live stream in case you are watching live or if you're watching later on. Oh, this is really cool. So, this is the first time I've actually used this software to go live. I can see all the different viewers. Looks like we've got a fair amount of people on the Manful Yoga YouTube channel. We've got people from the Fit Father Project, and Anthony is coming in right now. Let's see here. Is this working? This is our first time using this software, by the way. So if we look confused, that's what's going on. Is your audio on? Testing. Can't hear you, but let's see if we can ask people. Let's see here. All right. Unmute. Can't hear you. Can you hear me? You can hear me? I wonder if I have my audio just like playing from somewhere else. Let's go to the chat. Can anybody hear Anthony? Anthony's face is fuzzy. We can hear Dean. Thank you, Tim Mack. We can hear you both. Okay, so they can hear you, but I can't hear you, which is going to make a conversation difficult. Let me play around with these sound settings. Say something again for me, Anthony. Nope. Let's see here. Only Dean right now.
Dean, can you hear me when I do this?
Oh, but now I can hear you. Yep, you're there.
Okay, does that sound okay? I just switched my audio input.
Yeah, that sounds okay.
Okay.
All right.
How about this? I'll do one more try.
Does this sound better or worse?
That's good.
Is this better than previously?
It's the same as the other one, a little bit. Yeah. So, all right, we've got you now.
Cool.
All right, it only took us 5 minutes. I feel like that's pretty good though for figuring out new technology.
Tech success. Hey, everyone here, really happy you all are joining us. This is awesome.
Yeah. So this is going, by the way, this is going off to the Manful Yoga YouTube channel, and then if you don't know who I am, Anthony, you can say hi.
Okay, so everyone knows Dean Pullman, yoga extraordinaire, founder, chief of Manflow Yoga. I'm Dr. Anthony Balduzzi, founder of the Fit Father Project. I know there's some guys here that are joining from our Fit Father Project community, which I absolutely love. And basically, we help busy dads over 40 lose weight, build muscle, and create sustainable, healthy habits. So it's very true that our communities are aligned between Fit Father and Manflow Yoga. And this is why we are really grateful and excited to a couple times a year do like a big cross promotion where everyone who follows the Fit Father Project, I want them to know about Dean and Manflow Yoga. Everyone that knows about Manflow Yoga, you got to know about what we're doing at the FFP, because honestly, we're just changing guys' lives. And I'll go on a little tirade, then I'll let you on, Dean, because I think like right now, men need to take their health seriously. I think if we look around at the world, like we're a little bit at a tipping point. Like there's so many things that are happening. Let's just say, like, put all the geopolitical stuff on the side. Like all that stuff certainly happening right now, at least in the United States. We have financial issues, but we also have this health epidemic that's happening right now. The stats right now are that over 50% of guys, especially guys over 40, are overweight, obese. They're a part of this prescription medication cycle system. Their joints are breaking down, and they're heading on a trajectory where they're just getting weaker and they're losing their vitality in life. And the thing is, like, to get your vitality back, it requires having some habits around the right inputs. You got to eat the right foods. You got to learn how to move your body and restore joint function. And this is exactly what Dean and I do. And we complement each other so well, because at the FFP, we're really getting deep into the mindset, the habits around nutrition, certainly our take on exercise. And then for guys over 40, I don't think there's a better way to approach exercise than Dean's Manflow Yoga approaches, because look, you're going to be able to restore primary joint function. If you have stuff that hurts on your body right now, you got to be able to restore that. So I'm just grateful everyone's here and you're taking the time, because this is really not just about us sharing our communities. It's about you and your family. This is about your future. This is about your health. And the guys who are listening to this, I know you resonate with that message.
Yeah. Perfect. Cool. Thanks, Anthony. So yeah, guys, if you don't know me, my name is Dean. I'm founder of Manful Yoga. I focus on helping men get stronger with yoga, with kind of this more fitness focused, more strength focused type of yoga that I developed with Manflow Yoga. My background is as an athlete originally. I started yoga completely on accident. And after a few workouts, I realized how much stronger I was getting, how much better my body felt. And I thought, man, there's got to be something out there for athletic men. And there wasn't. So I started filming workouts in my college apartment, started putting them out on YouTube. And then when I really started creating content and doing this full time, I realized that the people that I was reaching were men who were primarily in their 40s, 50s, and 60s, guys who struggled to do more traditional workouts because they didn't have the necessary mobility, they didn't have the necessary flexibility, core strength, things that help you move well and move without pain. And so I started creating programs for those guys, and really helping with just functional fitness and wellness, you know, from a perspective of just being able to do the things that you physically want to do during the day without pain. And really the message that I think resonates the most with guys in the Manful Yoga community is this idea of being able to do the things that you want to do physically for as long as you possibly can. And so that's who we really structure these programs around. And part of that is having a healthy weight. So I reached out to Anthony on I can't remember what it was, but I saw his YouTube channel and it took him like 7 months to respond. And then it took another 5 months to set up a call. And then we eventually got on. We were like, oh my God, why didn't we do this sooner?
Yeah.
And so you know, there's so much that goes into weight loss. It's not just about willpower. It's about setting up systems, making it sustainable, preparing yourself ahead of time. And these are things that I love focusing on with Manful Yoga. But Anthony has created this whole program. He's done all the other work on top of, you know, kind of just the basic ideas that I've done specific to losing weight. And so this is why I love, you know, talking about Dr. Anthony's program, is because he has this program that he's already built with all these homework assignments, with all these systems, all this proven processes, that's going to help you lose weight and keep it off. So that's why we're on today. So yeah, I'll flip it back over to you, Anthony.
Sounds good. And first off, anyone in the chat who's following Fit Father Project programs right now, holler at us. I want to see you guys here if you're doing that. And if anyone's following Manflow Yoga right now, please also do some comments as well. One of the cool things about our opportunity to kind of collaborate and have this live video and this whole week where we're really just cross promoting and making sure that people know about these communities is we have some awesome programs and offers. So like Dean has a Strength Foundations Challenge. It's like a 6-week Strength Foundations Challenge that basically introduces you to his methodology and philosophy of how to approach exercise, gives you workouts to follow, and it'll just help restore your total body joint function. If you're used to feeling aches and pains, recurring injuries, and you just haven't been motivated to exercise because it doesn't feel good, Strength Foundation Challenge on sale now. It's literally like $9 for 6 weeks. I mean, like, it's a no-brainer. You literally couldn't get even a healthy bowl at Chipotle for $9 these days, let alone a Strength Foundation.
They raised the prices, and I am furious. It's like $15 for a burrito now, man.
There you go. So Dean's pissed about that, but he's happy about the Strength Foundations Challenge. And then, of course, Fit Father, if you're interested in what we do and seeing our program, and obviously Dean speaks very highly of us, there's also a deal for everyone in the Manful Yoga community. Wherever you're watching this live stream, you can click the links below and check out some of those things. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'll share a little bit more. We as dads need to take our health seriously. And I think there's a number of dimensions that we need to get into that. And one of those is actually in this kind of accountability community dimension, because we all know a lot of the same things to do. We all know we should exercise more, eat healthier, and certainly the methodologies between FFP and Manful Yoga are phenomenal. But I think the fact that you're here watching this means you're plugged into an online community of like-minded guys. And what I've seen, at least in the back of Fit Father, is it is literally foundational when you get around a motivational group of guys. That's why Dean and I are such good friends, because we're like, dude, we want to be here in this journey, be with each other in our health and fitness journeys, be with each other in our fatherhood journeys, and just to support one another. The energy you get when you come into structured community like this, it's like the glue that brings all these ideas together and helps you stay so much more accountable. And I think that's a very relevant concept right now heading into the back part of this year. The back part of this year is always a seasonal thing where it gets guys into a little bit of a funk. It's the holidays. It's colder outside. Your routine starts to change. You know, maybe there's the holiday foods and people honestly gain some weight. And what I'm trying to suggest to you is, because you're on this call right now, it is like the end of October as we're doing this, you have the opportunity to crush it for the next 2 months. And what that means is you have a structured, clear plan. What that means is you avoid some of these holiday pitfalls, and then you start the next year like just with a lot of momentum instead of on the back foot. Like, we all know the experience of if you had like a crazy weekend, you ate the wrong foods, and then Monday starts and you're like, God, I had to take a whole day to kind of like reboot and get up and going and all that. Like, that's what everyone does to their year through these holidays. And I suggest that there's a way to celebrate and enjoy this time of the year, the holiday festivity season, while also being on track. And I think these structured programs are a good approach for that.
Yeah, I'm glad that you mentioned that. A lot of people give up those, a lot of people just give up because, oh, well, there's Thanksgiving, so I'm going to have one big meal, and there's going to be cookies around because it's Christmas, but what you might not be realizing is not only are you going to miss out and start late, you're also going to have to undo 2 months of, whatever negative progress you made. So in reality, you're losing 4 months. You could start now and you could be where you are in February. Because you have to make up for that time that you missed. So I think that's a great point. So yeah, and just to kind of recap, so like, for the Man-Flow Yoga offer, the Strength Foundations Challenge, this is it's $9 for 6 weeks, and you actually also get bonus access to the entire Man-Flow Yoga app and members area. So you can use all of our workouts and all of our programs in addition to the Strength Foundations Challenge. The reason why we use the Strength Foundations Challenge as our special is because it's the most transformative in terms of noticing the benefits. Yes, you're going to get stronger. You're going to get better at yoga postures. You're also going to learn a lot of body weight exercises, mobility exercises, things you won't typically see in a yoga program. But you're also going to really notice those results in your day-to-day life. You're going to feel the benefits of having more muscle. You're going to feel the benefits of just being stronger, going up the stairs with more energy. Just in your daily life, you're going to feel a lot stronger. And it's kind of, we just hear about it all the time about how many people notice the benefits and how good it feels. So it's a challenging program. It's not for everybody. Some people, if you do it, you might just feel discouraged. We do hear that. So you do have to go into it not expecting for it to be just like a series of basic yoga stretches that are really easy, because it will feel good, but that's not going to get you the results that you want. But if you can do it for just a few weeks, you're going to prove to yourself that you can do something. And you're also, you're going to feel the results. So, and then
there's a question from Bill. He did the Strength Foundations a couple of weeks ago, but life got busy.
Yeah.
And can you do it again? Yeah, man. I mean, like, of course. And I think that's an important point and something we preach at the FFP the whole time. We have this idea naturally because we're guys and we want to do well. It's maybe even our hunter-gatherer instincts. We want to be perfect. We want to get it done the right way. We have vision and create it, but like life's not like that. It's like constant twists and turns, and your health and fitness really is dictated by how often you can get back on the track and just refocus. I mean, even guys in the chat who've been on FFP for multiple years, please comment and let me know, like, isn't it all about constantly refocusing when stuff happens? So always a chance to refocus and get on. And then the other thing I want to say too is, like, we talk about health and fitness often as if, and someone's asking, is this pre-recorded? No, we're here live.
We are live.
Okay. So people often think of health and fitness and talk about it as if it's separate from the rest of your life, and the rest of your life, meaning your family, your mental, emotional life, your spiritual health. Like, in my opinion, I know Dean and I may differ a little bit in terms of our spiritual and like metaphysical philosophies, but look, when you are consistent with your exercise and your movement and your food, and you're doing things that are in alignment with what you feel internally is the highest and best for you, you start to flourish like on all levels deeply. And this is where you start to feel this spiritual alignment and congruency in your life. And I just know if you don't have this part of your life nailed, you're not gonna feel whole. And I think it is important. Like Jim made a good point. This is not like, when yoga is a very loaded term these days. And I think when people say yoga, and Dean can speak to this too. There's a whole bunch of hot connotations. Is this like Hindu postures? Is this pagan stuff? Am I worshiping the sun god? Dean could be the furthest from that. I mean, explain man-flow yoga. It's completely non-religious, non-spiritual approach to just basically yoga posture. So maybe Dean, speak into that.
Yeah, so this is a question that we get a lot, and it's just yoga. I mean, it's just I'm sorry, it's not just yoga. It's just movement. It's just we're just doing exercises. We're basically doing variations of lunges, variations of squats, different kind of planks exercises. And that is essentially what the physical practice of yoga is. A lot of the, a lot of the things that you'll see at a yoga studio are it's not even, some of it is yoga postures, but a lot of it just takes influence from, modern day body weight exercises, calisthenics, Pilates, mobility work. So it's kind of just a catch-all term for body weight exercise. Yeah. So like you're not going to be doing, we just don't have any of the spiritual aspects whatsoever in our workouts. So it's kind of not even it's a non-factor. Somebody
But you
said,
do feel more peace and presence when you're moving your body and you synced up with your
absolutely.
breath, right? So like,
Yeah.
I guess that's where it becomes personally spiritual, but not overtly religious, right?
Yeah, I think that's a good description. So we say non-spiritual, but really what we mean is non-religious, because we're not drawing in any sort of, structured or organized practice of spirituality. So there is something kind of that magical that happens when you are focusing on your body, when you're focusing on your breathing in particular, and you're using the breath focus to tap into your body awareness and to realize what your breathing does for your physical fitness, for being able to work deeper into the postures, to go deeper into your flexibility, to hold the postures for a longer time. And then as you're doing that, you also reach it helps you practice being present. Being present is a very, be in the moment. That's a very kind of, buzzword term, I think, these days. But this is what it actually is. When you focus on your body, when you focus on your breathing, it gets you into this place where you mentally just feel more present. You feel less stressed. You feel more at peace. And I've actually had some people who are like, well, this feels too good. Maybe I'm doing something against my religion because it feels too good. And, I don't think that's I don't know. I don't know what to say to that other than, you can feel good and not, I don't know. It's bringing back Puritan ideas.
I want to comment on a few things that just came to mind that related to that. All right, guys, look, like the process of getting older is degeneration that happens on a couple levels. It happens on a mental and a physical level. So with the joints at first, like we have all these different joints that articulate. Shoulder moves in a circle, knees a little more like a hinge joint with a little lateral play. As we get older and we get more cartilage damage, injuries, you get more bone on bone stuff. One of the best ways to actually improve the way your joints feel is to move them through these natural ranges of motion, like Dean teaches inside Strength Foundations in his other Man-Flow yoga programs. Motion is lotion for the joints. And a lot of us with like more degenerative joints as we get older, we think that we need to lay off it. It's good to lay off acute injuries, but actually like more the chronic stuff, you actually want to strengthen the musculature around that. And when you move the joint through a proper range of motion and you correct some of these imbalances, you actually get more of this synovial fluid, more hyaluronic fluid going into there, and the joint actually feels more lubricated. And then as we get older in our discs of our spine, that gets so compressed because we're sitting all the time. Old people are shorter, right? Why do they get shorter? Because they're literally dehydrating those discs. What all this yoga work does, that Dean does, is helps lengthen that spine. And then when you lose the weight with FFP, it takes a lot of pressure off those discs too. So like, and the final thing I'll say too is what Dean was talking about, presence, and why this actually jogged me to start talking about joints and fluid and stuff, is effectively your lifeline, how long you live, is going to be dictated definitely partly by your weight, how much inflammation you're creating with your nutrition, but largely how peaceful you can stay. Are you going to be staying in a more parasympathetic state where you're actually relaxed, your breathing is deep through your belly, you're not stressed out, or you're going to be in a very sympathetic, heat up, fight or flight state? These are two gears of the nervous system. The animals that live the longest, humans included, stay in a parasympathetic dominant state. A tortoise lives for like 150 years. The thing is not worried about eating Eden. It's got armor on it. It's going around eating lettuce. Like a mouse lives for like 18 months, and that thing is worried about getting killed every second of its day. It has a very fast metabolism, a very twitchy nervous system. And that's just an analogy to bring up about what the subtle benefits are of like doing both of these programs, but in particular, Strength Foundations in ManFlow Yoga, is that it teaches you how to take exercise and make it to be a parasympathetic activity that comes into the rest of your day and you feel more relaxed. And I'll tell you with FFP, when you start eating better and feeling more aligned, that stress and that anxiety in the background of your mind, that negative self-talk, all that starts to like decrease too. And then you're living longer, not just as a byproduct of your habits, but because you change your nervous system at a foundational level.
Yeah. So I'm going to speak to kind of the effectiveness of both programs and how long it takes to kind of start working, or some of what you can start to anticipate. So, anytime you start something new, once you get about, there's a lot of excitement for the first couple of weeks. Once you get past the first couple of weeks, once you get into week 3, that's when your body starts to, start to crave the comfort that you used to have. Like, oh, it'd be so much easier if I didn't exercise, or, oh, it'd be so much easier if I just had that food that I'm used to. So I'm telling you this now, not because I want to discourage you, but because I want to let you know, if you can make it through that period, if you can make it through that week 2, week 3, week 4, then you're going to get on the other side and you're going to realize, oh, wow, my body feels so much better when I'm exercising. And my body feels so much better when I'm putting good foods in my system. Anthony and I did a really good podcast on this where I asked him basically all of the questions about the psychological difficulties of losing weight, right? Because if we know what we need to do, eat better, exercise more, sleep better, manage stress, then why is it so hard? Why are over 50% of men over the age of 40 overweight? And it's because there are all these other things at process. So understand that it is going to be difficult, but if you can get through those second, those third, those fourth weeks of these new programs, you're going to get on the other side and realize, oh, wow, this is what my life could be. So, it's not without struggle. But what I really like about both of our programs, and something actually I learned from Anthony's program, Dr. Anthony's program, we integrated this into ManFlow Yoga. He has a very thorough step-by-step process in his emails that is going to guide you through this entire process of losing weight, of creating the habits, but even more so helping you understand the importance of your weight loss to your overall goals. We ask people, why is it important for you to lose weight? And if all you say is, I just want to be more healthy, you haven't gotten to the real reason yet. When you start to realize, oh, you know what? I want to lose weight because I watched somebody in my family get old too quickly and lose their life too quickly because they were overweight, because they weren't healthy. And I don't want to do that to my kids. So when you start to get into that process and you really start to ask yourself why and dig deep, that's when you're going to find that motivation. And that's what you're going to be able to use to show up every day and make the healthy decision instead of doing what's easy. And so Anthony's program does a really good job of doing that. And that's something that I really like about his program. And that's why I recommend it. Because if all it was just go eat more salads, then everyone would do it. But there's a psychological process behind it. And Dr. Anthony does a really good job of addressing that.
And then the other thing that you said is just kind of true. I'm just reflecting on my life experience. Like when you make a choice presently, it has a rippling effect into the future in terms of kind of momentum that it carries forward, right? So we make a choice about doing something that's not aligned. We eat another bag of chips late at night while watching TV or something like that. Like that carries over and there's a consequence the next day that creates a momentum. Versus when you're on a very aligned, healthy routine and you have to create good aligned choices, it makes it easier to make more healthy aligned choices. And so we're always going to pay or receive a reward for our current choices into the next moment. So we're always setting ourselves up for our future experience. So I guess even just that meta frame creates more weight around why it's a good idea to just like have a routine and make these healthier choices. I'd love to take a little quick Q&A in here because there's a couple, Dean. Maybe we'll just popcorn in on some of these because I think we have some cool questions.
Yeah.
There was someone who mentioned that they have no cartilage in the joints, especially the knee. Should you get surgery or as a knee replacement, or that can be avoided. So I'll do a quick comment on this one, Dean, and we'll go back and forth on a few questions. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to assume this is like no cartilage, meaning you've got an X-ray and maybe even an MRI and you have like no cartilage on the knee. There are ways to regenerate cartilage. Stem cell injections from bone marrow are one way to do it. I've personally had those before and they are effective for regenerating cartilage. But beyond that, like there's not too much. If your cartilage is that tanked, then it may be time actually to look into getting a knee replacement. Thankfully, the technology is constantly getting better and better. A supplement that people can generally take for their knees that has research back benefits is called UC2 collagen. Undenatured type 2 collagen can really lubricate your knee joint. And I also highly recommend, if people are into this, to start making more bone broths, or even broths with, chicken feet and stocks like that. Like getting back to more of this ancestral nutrition where you're getting collagen proteins can help. But if your joint is like no cartilage, then I don't even know if stem cells would be indicated. But if you have cartilage damage, stem cells can help fix that. So Dean, go ahead and take another one here.
Yeah, and my 2 cents on that generally. So I live with a physical therapist. My wife is a physical therapist. She has a lot of letters after her name. She's very smart. And from her, what I've learned is you want to figure out before surgery, you want to figure out, can physical therapy help me? Physical therapists are probably the most well-trained people, well-trained fitness professionals in terms of helping you get to pain-free in the least amount of time. So I would explore those options, figure out if doing those exercises, give it a few weeks, can help, and then you can decide if surgery could be a thing. But you want to avoid the knife happy surgeon. If he says yes surgery to everybody, that's not something. So what are I'm
I got some
scrolling
more
in
questions here. There's a
Yeah,
couple
give me
about
one.
the Fit Father nutrition plan. We have two of them here. One is, can the plan be made gluten-free friendly? The answer is absolutely yes. We have many members, maybe even the majority, that don't have gluten in their diets. We do have some recipes that have like high quality wheat products, like an Ezekiel bread sandwich, but obviously those are optional and not required. So if you are going low gluten, the meal plan will absolutely work for you. And then another question was, if you follow a vegan diet. So we have someone here who said, I'm following a vegan for 15 years, so I'm able to modify your meal plan. Well, our whole meal plan, it sounds like you haven't quite read it yet, although you are a member, which I appreciate, has complete plant-based meals for breakfast, lunch, snack, and dinner. So the cool thing about FFP is we're not telling you the exact foods that you need to eat. We're giving you the best healthy options and helping you find your unique framework that looks. I have followed completely plant-based, even vegan diets for long stretches of time in my life. And I learned so much from those, and I incorporate those best recipes into the meal plan. So yes, if you're completely plant-based, it will work for you 100%.
Cool. Hey, so here's a great question that I love talking about. So someone asked, will this program be helpful for someone who is morbidly obese and just starting Fit Father project? So so I'm part of the Brotherhood Facebook group. So Dr. Anthony's Fit Father Project Brotherhood Facebook group on Facebook. And guys, I see so many of you who are posting about back pain and shoulder pain and pain in general. And it's interesting because the general request in there is, I have bad shoulders. What can I do instead of doing this exercise? When instead I look at that, I'm like, let me help you. Let me fix your shoulders. Let me fix your back. It is not normal to have pain with exercise, and you can address them with the right exercises. So if you guys are struggling with pain doing your FFP workouts, if you guys can add Manflow Yoga into that 3 times per week. And these are not competing programs. These are complementary programs. They work together. Manflow Yoga is not going to get the same, benefits of strength training with weights to the same degree as weightlifting, but it is going to help with your weightlifting tremendously, help with pain. And specifically to that question that I just, that was just asked, if you're obese and concerned, is Manflow Yoga appropriate? Manflow Yoga is going to be way more appropriate than a lot of other exercise, because you're learning how to use your body weight for exercise. If you were to start picking up some weights, throwing those around, you probably don't have the core strength to do that. You probably don't have the necessary functional mobility levels. It's going to be a lot more strain on your joints. So Manflow Yoga is a much better way to build you up, to get you to the point where you have a functional body to be able to have the necessary body control, mobility, and just basic essential strength so that you can start to do other workouts without pain. So it's absolutely a fantastic way to build up. And I would just combine that with walking, honestly.
Yep. That's it. Because Daryl asked a good question. Is I alternate FFP exercise with ManFlow throughout the week. Is that reasonable? Yes. I think that's even ideal. Like baseline, walk as much as you can. Walk every day if you can. Good for your circadian rhythm. Just activity mobilizes you really great. There's a big trend of walking backwards. If you want to look a little crazy in your neighborhood, do a little bit of that too. That's good. And then on top of that, the Fit Father high intensity workouts like our Apex 10, our metabolic resistance training workouts, if you sprinkle those in a couple times a week, you're going to get the muscle, the fat burning, and just a really good intense workout. And then ManFlow can be alternated between that because those workouts are also going to work your muscles, but they have a restorative aspect too because they're in your body weight, very joint friendly. So I think that'd be a completely ideal plan. Like, huge fan of that.
And I just want to call out Daryl really quick because I emailed, he emailed me back earlier this week and said, I'm already subscribed to the Fit Father Project. And Daryl is on phase 2. He's lost 17 pounds in 5 weeks. He's still got 32 more pounds to go, but he's been combining Fit Father Project and ManFlow Yoga and having a lot of success with that. I also received a lot of other emails from ManFlow Yoga members who are also using Fit Father Project. So this is a proven system. We've got a lot of guys who are going through both of these and having a lot of success. So check out the links that we have in these broadcasts in the post, and you'll be able to sign up for either Fit Father Project, their FFP 30X program, or the ManFlow Yoga Strength Foundations Challenge.
I'm just having fun. So hopefully I've got a couple more minutes on here, Dean, because I want to popcorn hit a few more questions. I know we're going a little longer than we thought, but there's a couple things people are talking about. The UC2 collagen I recommended. Any brand on Amazon is fine in my opinion. What's interesting is you're seeing a lot of collagen supplements out there right now. There's lots of different types. There are that I know of, and there's more than this. There's like 5 types of collagen. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Type 1 and 3 come from cow sources, bovine. 2 comes from chicken or fish. And for the knee osteoarthritis, 2 is the kind that you want the best, although 1 and 3 have benefits for other areas. And then when people have clicking knees, and Dean can probably speak to this, it's not always just the joint. Sometimes the muscles are actually like tight. They're not firing properly. The knee is not tracking in the right way. So there's many reasons why a knee can click. And in fact, sometimes if you just like are able to release some trigger or tender points or get your glutes to be a little more active, that knee will actually kind of fix itself. So I think anytime you have a knee issue, don't just think of it as a joint knee issue. Look upstream, and there's oftentimes muscle weakness or muscle imbalance. Dean, you want to speak to that a little bit?
Oh, I do. I really do. So actually I had surgery when I was 16 on my knee, and because I just didn't know anything about, fitness at the time. And as I got older and I started doing yoga and I started getting more interested in fitness, I realized that my knee wasn't the issue. In actuality, the issue was like Anthony mentioned, it's what connects to the knee. It's my hips. My hips were tight. I had weakness in my hips. The right muscles weren't firing. I had a lack of mobility in my ankles. I had weak feet. So something that the Strength Foundations Challenge actually does incredibly well is it is a core strengthening challenge. You guys are going to work on, and by core, talking about from your hips up to your ribs. So this program is going to work on all of the muscles in your hips, all of those muscles that you might not be aware of, the muscles that are really hard to activate if you spend a lot of time sitting. So this program is going to be fantastic for strengthening your knees. And also someone else mentioned back pain. This program,
let's talk about that.
Oh gosh. So back pain is actually, so I developed a program for back pain with physical therapists here in Texas, with Texas physical therapy specialists. And it comes down to hip strength, hip mobility, spinal mobility, and core strength. So that's what makes up, that's what will make your back feel good or feel bad. So just stretching your back more isn't going to help. You have to strengthen the hips. You have to strengthen your core. You have to get up from your chair and move more often. And yeah, the more that you can do these exercises, the better your back is going to feel. And Strength Foundations Challenge is a fantastic program for addressing all the root causes of back pain.
For sure. And I think there's so many big muscles like your hip flexors that pull on that low back. Almost people that typically have back pain often are sitting a lot or they have those tight psoas. And then I'll just put a big plus out there for like any kind of spinal decompression you can do can really help a ton. So I have an inversion table like outside, just right past this camera on the other side outside. There's an inversion table where I get on there and hang, and I feel like that opens my back a ton. Behind me, I have a door that when I'm not recording, I typically have a pull-up bar that I hang from. So if you can get some more spinal decompression from either your hips or your upper, that can help a lot. But overall, yeah, I mean, the back stuff is essential. The quality of your life is ultimately going to be dictated by the quality of your spine. Back pain, especially imagine being 70 or 80 with terrible back pain. You lose your mobility. And when you stop moving, your blood stops flowing to the same extent, which is your vital force. And you see people just go downhill really fast. So got to continue to work on the back, and both FFP and Manflow yoga programs do a great job with the core.
Yeah,
So
and speaking to that, a lot of people, if you have back pain, there's a tendency to say, "Oh, I'll wait until the pain goes away to start working on it," and that's not how your body works. Your pain won't go away until you start to address the underlying causes of it. So, especially if you have back pain, the answer is to start exercising, but to do the appropriate exercises. And if you are in the Strength Foundation, if you sign up for this special that we have with the Strength Foundation Challenge, we actually have a program called Bulletproof Your Back, which you get access to when you sign up, which is just 10 minutes per day. It's a really short workouts. But if you can do that for 2 or 3 weeks, your back pain will clear up significantly. We've actually had people with, who have had years or even decades of chronic back pain. They do this program for like 2 weeks, and they're like, "Oh, wow. You mean I don't have to live with back pain?" So just to say, if you are in pain, the answer is to exercise. It's not to sit down and wait for that pain to go away.
Couple other questions, just because people are still, I love the energy in the chat. Thank you
Yeah.
all for listening. So good carbs versus bad carbs in the diet. I want to quickly hit on that. So one of the unique philosophies on the Fit Father Project meal plan that makes it different than a lot of the mainstream stuff, which everyone's super villainizing carbs. It's like never eat a carb again. My thought process is, look, there are the right kinds of carbs that can be in your diet and still be health promoting. And it makes it a lot more enjoyable when you can like sit down with your family and have a sweet potato or some rice or some quinoa or even a pasta dish once in a while. So we teach you how to incorporate those in the right portions at the right times. Now, there are certain carbohydrates that are inflammatory for most people, and certainly specifically for you, there are kinds that are inflammatory. We help you identify those and get those out of your life. And we also have lower carb meals early in the day. So things like eggs and fruit and avocados and shakes and maybe some power overnight oatmeal if you're following a plant-based thing. Like these are fine things to have in there, as well as even some bread, sprouted organic bread. So we incorporate carbs into our plan. You do not have to be on a super low carb ketogenic diet to lose weight. It would help people lose hundreds of thousands of pounds, and many of them are eating bread on a near daily basis, just higher quality stuff. So carbs can be in the plan. I stand behind that 1,000,000%.
Yeah, and we tend to, I think when it comes to diet questions, we tend to ask people like, is this good for me? Is this going to, is this going to mess with things? And one thing that I like to do when I'm assessing whether or not a food is good for me is I eat it and then I see how I feel afterwards. So like there are certain types of bread that I can have and it doesn't affect me at all. Like I don't notice that I crash later on, where sometimes if I have like, if I have like a burger that has kind of like, a standard, bleached bun, then, later on, I'm like, oh, I feel like crap. But if I have like Dave's Killer Bread, for example, if I have Dave's Killer Bread with a burger, I don't feel tired at all. I feel fine. So I think it's important to assess, just eat something and see how you feel afterwards. And if you don't feel tired and craving more sugar, then, hey, I think that's a good thing for you to eat. So
watch your mucus production too. Another sign is like your body, when it encounters something that your immune system says is not good for you specifically, it will produce mucus. You'll feel like you're clearing your throat. You might find that you get more nasal drainage or some pressure in your head. That's a telltale sign that that food is not awesome for your particular body. There's a question about a tight and painful QL. That's a muscle called the quadratus lumborum. It's like on the part of your spine, like right back. You can barely see me here, right back here. I had an injury to my QL, so I understand it's a very tough muscle often to work because it's so deep in the back and it's so powerful. I mean, I think putting some pressure on it can help if you can get like a barbell or a foam roller or something and wedge it back in there and then do some mobility exercises. But like a QL is often chronically tight because your nervous system is saying keep it tight to protect an injury or to protect your spine. So I think like Dean will probably speak to this. Holistically, the best way to probably release a QL is not just like the pressure and the massage, although beneficial to myofascial stuff, but to strengthen the whole trunk, like in motion, and then the QL will eventually release. Anything to speak on that, Dean?
Yeah, I mean, it's all interconnected. So if you can think about what are all the muscles around the QL, you know, you've got a lot of,
Quadratus lumborum, which is
yep,
people are asking. Yeah.
that's what it stands for. Yeah, so there's a lot of muscles around the QL. You've got your hips, you've got your back. If you can work on releasing the muscle tension in those areas, it's going to help with getting that muscle to relax. And that's actually a really good strategy in general. If you have a really tight muscle, it might help to address the surrounding muscles first before going straight for that super tight muscle. Because when a muscle is tight, it doesn't want to release. If you just try stretching a really tight muscle, it's probably not going to release. It's probably just going to hurt. So, you know, like Dr. Anthony said, getting some pressure on it, getting a massage is a really good idea to help break it up. You can also learn how to do some of those techniques yourself with like a little crossbar or with a foam roller. But yeah, in general, focus on the surrounding areas, focus on slowing down your breathing and like letting your exhale like release your body as you're doing it. And that's what's going to significantly help. Hey, I saw a question here. Is there a possibility of a joint Manful Yoga Fit Father Project retreat in the future? That'd be fun. I like Arizona. Let's do it.
It would be fun. And I mean, I know it's probably already filled, but Dean does have an upcoming retreat. So Manful Yoga does do retreats. Fit Father also does retreats. And so, yeah, I mean, that's maybe we do one in the future together. That'd be wonderful.
And actually, Dr. Anthony is coming to speak at the Manful Yoga Be the Better You retreat in what, 2 weeks now? 2 weeks?
Yep.
So yeah, he's coming to that. We'll be doing another one. We're actually talking about this right now internally, but we're looking at February of 2024 for our next one. So you can go to manfulyoga.com/BTBU if you want to sign up for our interest list on that. I don't know, Dr. Anthony, do you have one coming up? Do you have an interest list, or do you have a idea for your next one?
Well, we do. We're running one next fall in 2024 in Sedona, Arizona. But you know, maybe we'll get something on the books. And a couple things, I'm seeing some links. I just want to make sure that people have the proper links as we wrap this up. We have Dean has the Strength Foundations Challenge. If you want to get the Fit Father Project, it's fitfatherproject.com/MFY. There's been a couple links in the chat that are not working for people where it says MFY man. So it's just fitfatherproject.com/MFY is great. So you can check that link out. We'll throw in one more time in the chat. And I appreciate everyone taking the time on this beautiful day to come here and hang out with us. And for everyone in our communities, like, we love you. And we're so happy to be on this journey with you. And I can speak for myself and for Dean. Like, we're going nowhere, man. We got a long road of work to do with men and helping be champions for men's health. And all of you that are a part of this, it's like super meaningful to us. Like, love this community. Love you guys. Thank you all so much.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, for being here. This is awesome. If you're watching this later on, the links will still work. So use those links if you're not watching this live, and be sure to follow both of us. We try to put out a lot of content. Dr. Anthony has a great podcast, by the way, so check that out. I've got what is my podcast called? The Better Man.
It is Better Man, but it helps you be a better man. Yeah.
Yeah, the Better Man. Be the Better You is the retreat. So, anyways, guys, keep following us, and hopefully, when the time is right for you, join our programs. We do have that special going on right now, so this is a great time. But we'll be here for you when you're ready.
Thank you all.
Cool.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for joining us.